What is up, guys? Eric here with Team Eccentric, and I know it's been a couple weeks since I've really posted anything substantive on this channel. It's been a lot of life stuff going on. Working a lot of mandatory overtime. As my job kind of forces me to work overtime on the weekends sometimes, and it's really irritating. But also, anybody who knows me knows I'm a skateboarder. We all know that if you follow my channel enough. I'm a professional skateboarder now as well. I ride for Belligerent Lifestyle Apparel and skateboarding. So I'll leave a link in the description box to that. Really dope products. You should definitely check them out. Shameless plug, but either way, it's a dope brand. I ended up injuring myself skateboarding. I broke my ankle over a year ago, and I am in need of a surgery in order for me to start skating again, because the pain got so bad progressively over the course of months, because it healed improperly, that my ankle is incapable of bearing weight in certain positions. I can still walk, I can run most of the time as well, but like on a skateboard, your ankle sits in certain positions that make it kind of difficult for me because my ankle's messed up. So, a lot of life stuff's going on. I've been trying to plan for a surgery that ended up just getting postponed, which is really frustrating. So, there's been a lot. But in the meantime, I have been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot, actually. I've been playing a lot of locals. I have been testing this deck. I've been testing a lot of other decks. I just put together my own branded Despia deck, inspired by my homie Chris at Metagames GX. That's my dude right there. But this is the current Mermail list that I put together, but I'm not just doing a deck profile. I'm going to kind of go into the philosophy of like other ways that I kind of want to test this deck out, whether it be because of potential ban list hits or because of certain non-engine that may not be relevant in the next month or two. I wanna like go over some theory and kind of figure some other things out with this deck, just to kind of like really optimize the way I am playing this deck even more so than it already is, which is quite difficult because I've optimized this deck as much as humanly possible. So first will be the deck profile portion of the video. I'll show you guys what I've been playing, and I'll kind of go over like tournament results lately and things like that. So we'll just get started, and I'll start off with the core engine of the deck first. So obviously we're starting off with the Mermail stuff. So, or the Atlantean Neptubus, the Atlantean Prince. We all know what it does. Send one Atlantean, add one Atlantean. Anytime anybody sees me summon this card, they kind of get mad. I love it. I love the collective reaction of anger whenever they see Neptubus hit the field, and it's an open game state. So you send one Atlantean, add one Atlantean, which gets you more cards, and it's the best normal summon in the game by far, at least in terms of like card economy and value. So, plus, I know other people are going to disagree with me, but high rarity Mermail is the prettiest deck in the game, and second to that is high rarity OG Noble Knights. Even though Noble Knights, like OG Noble Knights, suck, those cards are pretty, but Mermails are the prettiest deck high rarity. I don't care what anyone says. You're wrong if you disagree. So then we have the triple Atlantean Dragoons. Obviously, when this is sent to activate a Water Moss's effect, i.e. Neptubus, you can search for a Sea Serpent, so that's really good. And it's not once per turn, so that makes it even more busted. Then obviously triple Abyss Rhine. This one gets you to your level 7s. You can send one Mermail or Atlantean on your hand or field, or on your field or in your hand, to the graveyard by tributing it, as well as this card from your hand, and you can either add or special one level 7 Fish, Aqua, or Sea Serpent, which opens up a lot of lines and made Coelacanth a playable card in this deck, which I think is phenomenal. At first I wasn't a fan of it, but now it's by far like one of my favorite Mermail combos. I love it. Then we have triple Mermail Abyss. This is your extender, and depending on your hand, can be a pseudo starter. Well, I don't a pseudo starter. I guess that's not really even that's kind of a paradoxical term, but it's a way inferior starter, but it's still a starter nonetheless if you have two waters. It's really, really good. You discard a water, you special summon it, and then when it hits the field in that way, you can add one level 4 lower Mermail from your deck to your hand. So it's really, really strong in that respect. Then From there, we have triple pike. Pike is the less than optimal, but still somewhat relevant normal summon. I know a lot of people in Mermail, like with Mermail decks, have been playing 2 pikes or even maybe sometimes 1 pike, and they're playing like for the Rapka and the I've seen people play Silent Wobie and the Butterfly Fish. I don't like any of those cards because they are not normal summons. Granted, Butterfly Fish could be relevant because I know it has an effect that allows you to discard for cost, but I think that I would rather have the less optimal starter and be able to at least go through my combo lines, even if it's you know, less you know, streamlined through Pike rather than Neptibus, than to have Butterfly Fish and not really be able to do much with it because you can't send it off of Rhine and things like that. So plus you know, 3 Pike QCR looks really pretty. Then we have triple Shadow Squad. This is one of the cards that makes this deck way more consistent. If it's sent for a Water Monster's effect, you can summon 1 level 4 lower Mermail or Atlantean from the deck, which allows you to get to your Pike if you open Neptibus, or if you didn't open Neptibus, allows you to get to Neptibus. Really, really strong. It allows you to piece your combos together, you know, one piece at a time, which is really, really good. So then, last but not least, for the Mermail Atlantean cards, 2 Poseidra, the Stormy Atlantean. This card is actually nuts. This is my favorite. This, like, it sucks because I loved Mermail Abyss Megalo. Anybody who's been following my channel for a long time knows I've been playing Mermail since right after Breakers of Shadow, like maybe right before Shining Victories format. When we got like Sage with Eyes of Blue and things like that. And never did I think that Mermail Atlanteans would get a card that absolutely makes Megalo obsolete. This card is actually nuts. So it allows you to send 1 water from your hand or field to the grave. Any water, it doesn't have to be named, you know, archetype specific or anything. You can send it for cost, and then special summon this card. And then when it hits the field in that way, you can send a Mermail Atlantean from your deck to the graveyard as cost to target something your opponent controls and return it to the hand. So you know, there's a lot of you know, ways to clear boards now. You have a bounce that can also send a heavy infantry to, on a following chain, target something to destroy it, which just allows you to get ridiculous value off of this card. Like, you can clear 2 cards easily, or you can clear 1 card and then summon an Neptibus. You can there's just so many different lines that this card allows, especially in a going second scenario, that, like, if you're not at least playing 2 of this, I think you're playing it wrong. I was playing 1 of it at first to test it out, and to be honest with you, I think 2 is the perfect ratio. 3 could be relevant, but I just think 2 is fine. You know, I don't want to open more than 1 of it. So yeah, so that's it for the archetype specific cards, you know, the Mermails and Atlanteans in the main deck. Besides heavy infantry, which we are playing 1 of, which you will see in a moment. So then for the 1 of waters, we're playing 1 Moving Glacier, the Elemental Lord, rip 2 cards from our opponent's hand, really strong. A lot of people have been cutting this or even siding it, and I've seen people say that, like, oh, this card's not that good. I disagree. It depends, of course, on what deck you're playing against, and it, you know, I have lost games because of it. You know, looking at you, Partho. So Muin allows you to punish your opponent for hitting you with a Folos, because my idea with this deck right now is you you know, try and do your big fish combos, you know, you do your hand loop combo, but if you get Folos, instead of doing your big fish combo and like summoning a bunch of stuff from the extra deck or even the main deck, you can just hand loop them by summoning everything from your hand, and then your opponent doesn't get any draws off the Fua and they lose cards. And they just went -1 because of the dropping the Fua and not drawing anything. So if you have Neptibus in your hand and you normal summon your Neptibus and your opponent shotguns Fua because they think you're going to be summoning from the deck, if they don't time their Fuas properly, you can literally just hand loop them by just sending Dragoons, adding Rhine, and then Dragoons add Minstrel, and if you have another water in your hand, you can, like, go off and just rip cards from your opponent's hand and make it so they can't play, or they have less cards to play with. Now, I lost a game in locals against Partho, a good buddy of mine who also plays Mermail, very, very good player, probably one of the best players I've ever played against. you know, definitely a solid guy. Gives me ideas on you know, how to play like Mermail and stuff like that too. You know, him and I bounced a lot of ideas off of each other. He has a very creative build of the deck, by the way. He's like playing like a Bishark and like the water charmer discard, the level 5 that searches for another water and stuff. But like, you know, his build isn't like necessarily optimized for the meta, and he admits that. But like, he was able to beat me with that. But also in the tournament, he was able to beat me with Labyrinth Fiendsmith, his own little cooked up build of Labyrinth Fiendsmith that like played transaction rollback and the Black of Laughs and stuff. And the Moulin was definitely suboptimal against him. But nonetheless, I still think Moulin is a strong card going first. And worst case scenario, in games where you know you're going second, you side it out. Or if you know your opponent like you know, likes having a lot of cards in their hand, or you know, whatever, you can keep this in going second and then just like go through your combo line until you get to 5 waters, and then drop this as a free level 2800 that can at the very least be a big body. Yeah, so speaking of which, my tournaments lately with this deck have been pretty good. So as you can see, I won another mat at the pre-release. It wasn't the pre-release itself. We had the pre-release, which I won 2 matches and lost 1. We had 3, I think it was 3 rounds, and then top cut, and I wasn't, no, it was 4 rounds, and no, it was 3 rounds. And yeah, so I didn't win the mat in that event, but then we had our traditional locals that, you know, later that night. So I just stayed at the store and hung out and played more cards. And then I went undefeated in that locals, so I won this mat. Then the following week I went undefeated again. And then I skipped a week because I thought I was having my surgery and I didn't have money to make it to locals and do all that. And it turned out that you know, I wasn't getting my surgery, unfortunately. And then this past week I went X1 and my only loss was to Partho. So that's been my tournament. That's been my tournament results with this deck lately, and it's been really strong. I do think that some cards in the main deck and possibly even the side deck will change, but currently the main deck itself hasn't changed as of right now. But like I said, on video I kind of want to go over philosophy and like different ways to play the deck. And like figure out like if there's any other lines that we could like any other combo lines that you could do that would change scenarios and make the deck you know, optimized for the following format, since Justice Hunters is coming out, and you know, we're gonna have K9 and Yummy and all these other decks. So moving forward, sorry for the long rant, but next we have Super Ancient Deep Sea King Coelacanth. I love this card. I love this card. I love it. I have an ultimate rare that my buddy Austin gave me, and it's quote unquote damaged. It has it was acetone or nail polish remover was taken to the artwork, so it looks like a ghost rare almost. And I could be playing that version, but to be honest with you, just for deck profiles, I want to show off the Coelacanth. I want this big ass ugly fish to be seen. So then from there we have one barrier statue. So there's a lot of speculation on the ban list, and I don't know if people are speculating that statue could go, but I think probably they are, because I think people are sick of getting locked. It's the same thing with like Branded, right? Where like when Gimmick Puppet was a thing, people were like, oh, Gimmick Puppet needs to go, or you know, any of Jowgen needs to go, whatever, right? I feel like that's kind of the same thing with the barrier statue, but unfortunately, like this is our current win con going first. Unfortunately, because Bahamut Shark got banned, and that's actually something I wanted to touch on. There are ways to still incorporate the Totally Awesome in the deck. Obviously, you play Swap Frog. You play 3 copies of Swap Frog. You could play 1 copy of Substitoad, and then you could play the Mirror Mage and the Freezing Chains. But that kind of constitutes 2 more bricks to the deck in the forms of, or even 3 bricks actually, technically, in the forms of Freezing Chains, Mirror Mage itself, which technically isn't a brick because you can discard it off another water and then get the Freezing Chains, but it doesn't, you know, it's not a card that actually progresses your game state in any way by itself. So it would be Freezing Chain, Substitute, and Mirror Mage. Those 3 would be bricks, and the Swap Frogs would be your payoff for those bricks. So like if this card gets hit, then that's kind of the way I'm looking at the deck. I'm either going to be like trying out like an Ice Barrier variant, where like it's more so about getting out General Raiho and Lancia, the Ancestral Dragon of Ice Mountain, or it could be like a build that like catalyzes summoning Totally Awesome before summon 5, so you can you know, play under Nib and then also have more stuff to do. And there's a lot of theory crafting going on right now with this deck. So, but Barrier Statue at current is our win condition, and until the Barrier Statue goes, this will be our win condition. I mean, summoning this card usually can be an FTK. Then we have Deep Sea Minstrel. This card is an FTK essentially if your opponent only opens one high impact hand trap or something, or even if they open multiple low impact hand traps, you can just snipe the one that affects you the most and then just go in. Or if your opponent has no hand traps, you take the worst card out of their hand, so that they get it back in the end phase, and then you just like rip all the rest, and then they get the worst card back, and then they're on limited play lines. So then we have one Gluttonous Reptolfin Greethus. This card is just the summon off of Deep Sea King Coelacanth, and it's also like a Monster Reborn in a way, depending upon the amount of cards in your opponent's hand. So like, you can reborn like a Neptibus. If you have like another level 3, you can reborn a Neptibus, synchro into a 7, and then make the Deep Sea Prima Donna or the White Aura Monoceros to summon this back, and then make level 10. Or you can bring back a level 3 and Xyz summon for the Virtue Dragon, or whatever you fancy. It's a really, really good card. And then the last card for the Atlantean package is the Atlantean Heavy Infantry. This is just your disruption, you know, giving you go down the most optimal streamlined combo line, as well as it's good into boards, and at worst it gives you an additional normal summon. So if you like open this in squad, you can at least set up like a rank 7. You can set up Gaios with both a detached to pop or a detached to summon from deck. So yeah, so that's it for the main deck monsters. And then so for spells, we are playing 2. Playing 1 Abyssine Triana. I love this card. I know a lot of people don't even play it, but I honestly love this card because not only does it give you the added capability to extend further and, you know, Monster Reborn something and then also shuffle other cards back, but also at worst, if you are in a situation where you need a card, say during your opponent's turn you have no more cards in your hand, you've discarded them all because of like Coelacanth and all these other cards, right? You can if you send a water somehow during your opponent's turn, say detach from Gaios, you can, and this didn't come up in your combo line, you can add this to your hand during your opponent's turn and then Rhine it away, draw another card. Maybe you'll draw an Ash Blossom, maybe you'll draw an Impulse, something along those lines. So like, it just gives you the, you know, a lot of versatility in terms of not necessarily card effects, but value. Just getting another card. But plus, I mean, if you add this to your hand and you don't actually discard it for Rhine during your opponent's turn somehow, you can literally just like Monster Reborn a Neptibus and then protect it, because if Neptibus would be destroyed, you can just, this gets destroyed instead. So like, there's a lot of value in this card in my opinion. And then the last spell is Pot of Prosperity, just so we can dig deeper. I wasn't originally playing Prosperity, like I cut it like a while ago, but I feel like it's really relevant right now because of side deck options. Like, especially going into the next format, I think board breakers are probably going to be really solid next format. So like, I feel like digging for cards is going to be really, really good. You know, digging for your droplets, digging for your Dark Rulers, etc., etc. I mean, if those are relevant, of course, we don't know if those are going to be relevant necessarily, but we'll see. And then, so now we're going into the non-engine in the main deck. These are all the hand traps and things like that, and these are cards that are subject to change depending upon how Justice Hunters affects the meta. So we're going with 3 Fua, obviously. You know, Maxi is fun. 3 Water, Maxi, so 3 Perulia. You know, Maxi is fun. Then 3 Ash Blossom. These are really honestly only in here to stop opposing Mulch Armies. Honestly, Ash is like not as it's not as impactful as it used to be, like when it first dropped, which is like obvious. Like, I mean, the cards lost a lot of like staying power in the meta, but it's still strong enough to stop Mulch Armies, and that's something that is valuable and does have tangible effects on the game. So I think Ash Blossom is still a mainstay in the main deck. Plus, at the very worst, if your opponent's playing Fiendsmith and they summon the Requiem, you can just Ash the Requiem summon from the deck if they're trying to go Lacrima. So then we have Triple Impulse. This card is seeing a lot of hype right now. I think this card's amazing. I love this card. I've loved it since it came out. I think this card's amazing. And then this card is starting to, I think, be phased out of the meta. And I think I'm probably going to cut it for something like Droll and Lockbird, and that is Impermanence. I mean, I love Infinite Impermanence. It's literally one of my favorite cards in the whole game. But like, right now it's like mid, and then in the following, format, it's probably not going to be good at all. At best, it's going to be a side deck card. So like, I'm thinking I'm probably going to cut it for 3 Droll, and then just kind of stick with that for now. But that is the main deck. 43 cards. 43 cards. It's quite a bit. I've been bumping the deck count up very slowly, and I'm not really thrilled with it. But next, we'll go into the extra deck. So the extra deck has seen a little bit of change based on like other cards in my side deck and like other stuff like that. I think I changed like 2 or 3 cards in the extra deck, and I think I changed a few cards in the side deck. But I'll just go through and describe them. So Mermail Kingdom Activist, we all know what this does. Any water it points to can't be targeted by card effects. Also, if a water monster is sent by card effect, or is sent to activate a card effect, so sent for cost, then you can either add or equip an Abyss equipped spell from the deck, which is really strong, or Grave actually as well. So it's like you can re-equip from Grave. So like if you are playing like the Abyss Scale Mizuchi or Abyss Scale Sadist, you can like re-equip them. Also, if it's destroyed by battle or card effect, you can add 1 Mermail Atlantean from your deck to your hand. And what's cool about this card is something Partho and I realized is that this card can trigger off of your opponent sending waters for their costs. So like if you're mirror matching Mermail and you have this and your opponent sends a water, you can equip, which is crazy. Really, really good. So then we are playing the Mermail Dyslacia. I know a lot of people don't play this anymore, but I think it is relevant because it still gives you another option to discard a water, so that you can trigger other effects, as well as its effect on destruction is really good. You can send for cost another water to your graveyard to special summon a water from your grave in defense position. So like if your barrier statue gets popped somehow and then they don't realize the effect of Mermail Dyslacia, which a lot of people don't because they don't read, you can send a Dragoons, special summon your barrier statue back, and then Dragoons will get you a search for heavy infantry, and then you can like Rhine away the heavy infantry and pop whatever's trying to attack over the barrier statue. There's a lot of like theory in this deck. It's really, really cool. But yeah, Abyssalacia I think is really decent. Plus, worst case, if you link summon it into the extra monster zone, the 2 monsters it points to gains 500 attack and defense. So that's pretty decent. Then 1 Marincess Coral Anemone. This is combo. It's just really, really good. I love this card. Really, really strong. So that's it for the links, although I have considered bumping the count up a little bit. I was thinking of putting World Sea Dragons Atlantis back in, or even, as funny enough, Miss Starboy, just so I can give the barrier statue more attack and defense. But like that's all, again, theory crafting. We'll go over that in the next part of the video. So link monsters then, Xyz monsters, we have Poseidra, Abyss, the Atlantean Dragon Lord. This card is my favorite Xyz monster in this whole deck. I love this card. This card is so sick. Being able to summon this card going second, after like baiting all your opponent's disruptions or like clearing your opponent's board, getting through their negates, and then you just summon this and then you just non-target bounce up to 3 cards and then just go in for the kill. The funnest shit ever. I love it. 1 Mermail Biscayos. This is your going first option, so this is like the floodgate. We all, I've been playing this deck for years, so you guys, if you know my channel, you know Mermail Biscayos. Detach, during your opponent, or during either player's turn, you can detach, negate all monster effects on your opponent's side of the field whose attack points are lower than the Gaios currently, as well as if it has material, level 5 or higher monsters can attack on either side of the field. But the thing about Poseidra Abyss, by the way, is that you can Xyz summon this over the Gaios or the Abyss Trite. Any Atlantean or Mermail Xyz monster, you can summon this over. So next, I'll go over the Abyss Trite. So Abyss Trite is effectively a monster reborn. It takes 2 level 7 or 2 plus level 7 water monsters. So basically, you can like summon like 3, 4, and then just Xyz summon or whatever. And for each material it has under it, all water monsters you control gain 300 attack. So like if you have like 3 materials, all your water monsters gain 900. But that's not even the most relevant effect. When it's Xyz summoned, you can target 1 level 7 or lower fish aqua sea serpent in your grave and special summon it. So like if your coelacanth gets negated and popped somehow, and you can manage to summon this, you can get the coelacanth back and do it again. Or even, there was a combo line where I went absolutely nutty and I coelacanthed, used all the fish I had as material for things, shuffled them all back, as well as the coelacanth. Or, not the coelacanth. Coelacanth was in the grave. I kept coelacanth in the grave, but I shuffled back like 2 pikes and the Grethus, using the Triana, and then I was able to get this on board, summon back the coelacanth, coelacanth effect again, and then just go absolutely nutty with advantage. Really, really, really crazy card. So, Abyss Trite, plus, you know, it's a monster reborn, so like, go in situations where you're going second, you can like reborn an Neptibus, use the Neptibus, send Dragoons, add Poseidra, go off that way, and then Xyz summon this over this, and then just bounce everything. While this is on the field and it has material and your barrier statue on the board, it makes your barrier statue bigger too, so there's also that to keep note of. But then for the last 3 Xyz monsters, it's number 4 Stealth Kraken. This card is only in here because it makes everything water, as well as it kind of can be a time card. And it can protect your barrier statue depending upon if you can get 2 pikes on the board after the fact. Yeah, it making everything water does make Fiendsmith a little bit easier of a matchup, so that's something. Then we are playing the Snowdust Giant, although I'm considering cutting this card. I mean, it's still good in like 1-card combos and everything like that, but it's only good because you're trying to get goons off, so like gooning is really important in this deck. But Snowdust Giant, you know, you detach a material from it, and then you reveal as many waters in your hand to your opponent as you have, and then for each water that you reveal, you can put ice counters on cards on the field, and then for each ice counter, non-water monsters lose 200 attack. So it's all irrelevant. It's only so you can trigger your Atlantean Dragoons. And then the last Xyz monster is the rank 3, the Virtue Dragon. I put the Virtue Stream back in the side deck. I figure that's like our best out to Chaos Angel, because Chaos Angel unfortunately is like the hardest card for this deck to get over, because if it can't be destroyed by battle, it doesn't matter how big you make your Poseidra. It can't be you know, no monster effects work against it, so Poseidra is irrelevant. So the best thing you can do is Virtue Stream, and that's why I'm siding it. But the Virtue Dragon in combo actually allows you to add back your Neptibus at the end of your line, so that you can trigger or you can activate your Rhine, discard your Neptibus during your opponent's turn, draw a card, and then trigger the Neptibus. And this is all during your opponent's turn. Storming will come back out because of Neptibus's effect, and then Storming will trigger sending heavy infantry or Dragoons or whatever to target something on your opponent's board to bounce, and then if you send heavy infantry, that's another disruption, because then on a following chain, heavy infantry will trigger and then target something face up and destroy it. So there's like, you know, a lot of really long thought, like long-winded combo lines, and that's why a lot of these cards are relevant, but like they're all useful in this deck. Like every single one of these cards is useful. But there's a lot of different ways to build this deck too, so like you can like do different, you can like change up the exact concoction of extra deck monsters you want to use, like the exact list of extra deck monsters you want to use, as long as they're waters, can be almost anything. I've seen people use White Aura Whale, I've seen people use Chengying, I've seen people use anything. So like the extra deck is literally whatever you want it to be, as long as you can facilitate those combo lines, which is really cool. And that's why I think Mermail's the best water deck in the game. There's no other water deck that compares, that even comes halfway as close to Mermail. It is the quintessential water deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! So moving forward for synchros, so this synchro isn't really relevant in game 1 unless your opponent nibs you or something, or is somehow clearing it during your turn. But I am playing Lancia, Ancestral Dragon of the Ice Mountain. This card is more for the side deck General Raiho. What this card does is, I don't know if I don't think I've described this card to you guys yet. So what this card does is, once per turn, or once per chain, if your opponent were to special summon a monster, you can, after that special summon happens, you can activate this and then summon an Ice Barrier monster from your hand, deck, or grave. And then you can activate that effect up to twice per turn. Now here's the thing, you're only playing one Ice Barrier monster, so if they clear the General Raiho, then you can summon it back again. But in game one, the only reason why you'd make this is as a big beater for the crackback, or so that if your opponent does nib you, you can punish them by summoning Trish. Because if this card leaves the field in any way, you can summon an Ice Barrier monster from your main deck or extra deck, and if it's summoned from the extra deck, it counts as a synchro summon. So that's something that's really, really good. Following up the Ancestral Dragon is Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. This is one of my favorite synchro monsters, as you can see. Trishula, obviously we all know what it does. Banish one from hand, field, and grave on your opponent's side, and it doesn't need to banish from all three, unlike Necroz of Trish, which by the way, I do have a Necroz deck that I'm really enjoying as well, so I'll profile that at some point, but I don't want to like be on the heels of like Team COG, because I have a lot of respect for that dude, and I know he's been playing Necroz a lot, so I don't want to like just copy his list and put it up. I want to like, space it out a little bit. But I've been playing Mermail a little longer than him, so I'm gonna post my Mermail deck profiles whenever I feel like it. But out of respect for him, I'm gonna hold off on Necroz for a bit. Although I think he's back on Infernoble, which is one of my favorite decks as well. Him and I have a lot of similar decks that we enjoy. I really, really do like his channel too, by the way. Check him out, seriously. Team COG, dude kills it. Love that dude's channel. Great content. Really informative about the game and about the decks he plays, and he's not always like on meta decks either. Like he does play some meta strategies here and there. Like it is what it is, but like he really is informative about any deck that he plays, and that's what and he really knows how to streamline decks the best way he can, and that's what I love about it. So it's really, really good channel. Check it out. And then for another level 9 synchro, we are playing the Ravenous Crocodile Archithus. This is just another level 9 synchro that you can summon, given Trishula is not really relevant. Like if you're playing against Malice or something, the Trishula might not be as good. Or even maybe you want to draw more cards for further combo lines, like Ravenous Crocodile allows you to do that. Plus, it's another, it's in a way a synchro version of the Stealth Kraken that allows you to protect the barrier statue. So you will usually draw two cards off this, which is pretty good. And then we are playing the one Adamancipator Risen Dragite. This card you make off the Prima Donna, usually, or if you have like a level 3 tuner, another level 3, and then a heavy infantry, you can make it that way. Or like there's a lot of ways you can make this card. A lot of varying situations where like you have the right tuner and level, all that, sync or something. But just having that spell trap negate really is relevant too, because like if your opponent has like the one card that like could break your board somehow, like say for example an infinite impermanence somehow or something like that, you can like negate it. The card's really good. All you need is a water in the grave. Plus it's a 3k beater, which is really strong. And then one Deep Sea Prima Donna. This is what summons your barrier statue, as well as it can help to facilitate actual hand loot combos, because if it's sent to the graveyard, you can shuffle back one of your opponent's banished cards back into their deck, which if it's the card that you minstrel, they don't get it back, obviously, so that's really good. And then one White Monoceros. This is part of combo. It's just really strong. So that's it for the extra deck. Sorry for the long, exhaustive, rants about certain cards. But now we're getting into the side deck. The side deck has seen some change as well. The extra deck, like I said, saw like 2 or 3 cards change. The side deck has seen like, I think 5 or 6 cards change, possibly, since my last list. I'm not sure. But, so 3 Droll. I'm thinking of tossing Droll into the main deck, to be honest with you, over the Imperms. Which makes me very sad, because I love Imperm as a card. Just being able to like standby phase Imperm your opponent's Wave King Caesar or something just feels really nice. But Imperms, I don't think it's going to be as relevant next format, but we'll see. I mean, I really do love Imperm as a card, so we'll just have to wait and see. Then I am citing the other 2 Minstrels. Minstrel just going first. This card's nuts. So playing 3 of it in sided games where you're going first, really good. And then this is the General Raiho of the Ice Barrier. So what General Raiho does is, this is the one that you summon off of Lancia, Ancestral Dragon of Ice Mountain. What it does is, when an effect resolves that was activated by an effect monster on your opponent's side of the field, they must discard 1 card or the effect is negated. So it's their choice. So they, basically it's like the Mitsurugi ritual monster, except it's continuous and it's not once per turn. So yeah, it's really, really strong. You know, you put this under your Mermail King Neptibus, and then they can't even target it. So it just gives you the added ability to negate monster effects on your opponent's side of the field, and only negates on the field, unfortunately. So like you know, things like Nib don't get negated, but you know, by then you should have the barrier statue up anyway. So yeah. Then we have a couple board breakers. So I'm on double Lightning Storm, the QCR alt arts. I got one off of TJ. That's my dude right there. Shout out to TJ for getting me the one, and then I pulled the other one. And then after that, we have the one Feather Duster for back row decks, because I hate back row decks. Then for the other spells inside, we have one Call By and one Triple Attack. I was playing 2 Salesman because I feel like, so imagine you're in a scenario where you draw Minstrel, Dragoons, Salesman, and then just 2 other cards. You Minstrel Dragoons, see your opponent's hand, they got Droll and Nibiru. You rip the Droll, Dragoons triggers, add the Neptibus, Salesman, Nibiru. Ridiculous, but that takes too many cards. There's too many variables in that kind of a situation for it to really work out that effectively. But it's not so far-fetched because Salesman is a -1, but it's an intrinsic -1 in and of itself. So it's not as if you're paying any other cards to do it. Plus, it is actually good going second if your opponent like establishes, say, Fiendsmith Desiree or Wave King Caesar or something. You can like Salesman those cards, and then they can't use their effects either. So there's that. And then for the last 4 cards on the side, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep, last 4 cards on the side. Triple Evenly. I think Evenly is undervalued. I think this card is like underrated as fuck in this format. This card is actually nuts. Obviously, Lancia is the hard counter to this card, and a lot of people are citing Lancia because of things like Malice and like, you know, other, you know, whatever other decks. Like it's just kind of the way it goes. But like, people aren't gonna see Evenly. Like, if you're playing your cards optimally and if you're playing your cards like smart, you know, people aren't going to see Evenly coming. So like, you just evenly their board and then you just clear everything out. And yeah, so that's how that goes. And then last but not least is the Virtue String, which is the out to Chaos Angel, because Chaos Angel is a bitch to out. The fact that this is searchable makes it so that if you know your opponent is playing Chaos Angel in games 2 and 3, you can just search this, set it, and save it for the Chaos Angel. So there's that. But that's it for the deck profile portion of the video, guys. I'm gonna like get some cards out of my Mermail big box over there. I have like an ultra, like some kind of a deck or like a big blue box of Mermail cards, like cards that could be played in Mermail in any capacity. Even like Genix Undines, all that stuff. I have all that stuff like set aside. So I'm gonna like get some of the cards that I want to play, or like some of the cards I want to test out of there, and then we'll like kind of like see like ratios and like theory craft a little bit. And yeah, so give me 1 second and I'll be right back. Alright guys, so like I said, I wanted to do another portion of this video to kind of like theorize and like figure out some other stuff that we could do with Mermail moving forward with the next format coming up. You know, I got a few different like little piles of cards here that are for different reasons and do different things depending on like what scenarios you're in. You know, like I got the frog package here. I got some extra deck monsters here. I got some Gamma Seals and the Araya, the water channeler, the one water discard here. I got some more fish options here with the Magic-y Spirit. I think the only thing that I need to get is the ice barrier and the freezing chains for this. So give me 1 sec, guys. I'll be right back. All right, everybody. So I'm back. So so at current, you know, Mermail is as the deck profile described. You know, a lot of 3-ofs, big fish combo, like a lot of that stuff. But I wanted to see about the theory crafting behind like other stuff, like we could do the frog engine. So like the frog engine consists of obviously totally awesome, right? We play 1 toad. You don't want to play 2. It's unnecessary to play 2 because you're wasting an extra deck space, and you're only going to be getting 1 out more than likely anyway, unless you're playing the substitute, which you could opt to play because you can summon it off of Prima Donna, and that could be your summon target off of Prima Donna, depending on if your barrier statue, if the barrier statue gets banned, because then you can summon the substitute off the Prima Donna, tribute 2 monsters, or tribute 1 monster, summon a Swap Frog from the deck. Swap Frog will send the Mirror Mage. Mirror Mage will add the Freezing Chains. Then you can Freezing Chains the Mirror Mage, overlay the Mirror Mage and the Swap Frog that you summoned off the Substitute into the Toad, and then you can Synchro the Substitute and the Prima Donna if you haven't tributed the Prima Donna for Dragite. So like that's an option, right? There's a lot of pros and cons with this engine. I would say the pros are that like Swap Frog in itself is a card that baits hand traps at the very least. It's good into cards like Ash Blossom, good into cards like Imperm, because once they negate your Swap Frog's first attempt, you can bounce it back and to your hand, and that it bounces itself back as cost to get the effect to normal summon another frog monster from your hand, I think. Yeah, you can normal summon 1 frog monster during your main phase this turn, except Swap Frog in addition to your normal summoner set. But you're not going to be normal summoning, you're just bouncing it back to your hand and then discarding another water to special summon it. And you can summon Swap Frog from your hand this way, where you send a monster to the grave as many times as Swap Frogs you have in your hand and waters you have in your hand. So like that gives you like a lot of resilience through certain hand traps. The only downside I would say is that you're sending waters from your hand to the grave to summon this, but you're not sending them for cost. You're sending them as a summon condition, so they don't trigger things like Dragoons, it doesn't trigger things like Shadow Squad, so you're kind of also going minus on resources. So like, there's something to kind of pay attention to, but it is something that you could do. It is definitely plausible. Then for like other extra deck stuff you could try, like I was saying, is you could try to go back to Zealantis. Being able to banish your opponent's whole board, and then under the world or the Marincess Coral Anemone lock, like, is still really strong. It's just that it takes a lot of resources on your field to do, but it could be really, really strong because you could bait out a negate with this, and then if you still have monsters on your board, you can go Poseidra, Abyss to bounce 3 non-targeting. We also have the Mistar Boy that we could toss in for the barrier statue, just to make the barrier statue bigger, as well as it has an effect where if it's destroyed by battle of a card effect, you can add a water back, so that's something. It gives all your waters an extra 500 attack and defense, and it reduces all fires by 400 attack and defense, but that's not really relevant. Fire really isn't as in the format, but still, the Starboy could be relevant. And then this is just the level 10 Synchro Ice Jade. Oh, excuse me, guys. This card, I think this card is still solid. I think Changing is solid too, but I just don't think I wouldn't play Changing personally. In this deck, I just don't think it fits strategy as well. I mean, it's solid. It's solid. Like if I had limited options, I would without a doubt play the Changing. But I feel like this card is kind of more relevant because it allows you to protect your board from being destroyed or banished. And also, if this is in your graveyard and your opponent banishes a card, you could just like summon this right back out. So like, it's recursion, it protects your board, and then also if you respond to a card effect with it, as I've said in multiple deck profiles, the card that you respond to on your, with your that your opponent would activate would be banished. So that's something of note. And then I brought these out, 3 Gamma Seals and 2 Araya the Water Channelers. I need to get a 3rd Water Channeler, admittedly, but the reason why I brought these out is as inspired by, like I was saying in the deck profile portion, my buddy Partho. Araya the Water Channeler is really, really strong. I mean, I've tested this card a little bit before, even before Partho mentioned it to me, but like I didn't really think of the implications that this card has in the deck. And with the next format that we're going into, especially with like Lunalight and things like that, like you want ways to clear cards without actually activating any effects. You want to just be able to like tribute stuff off, and just being able to like search a Gamma Seal could be relevant. It could be something that like you know, could make or break your game. So like, you know, this is something that could be played, and then more fish stuff, as I was saying. So like we have the butterfly fish. I don't really care for this card, but you know, I may test it at some point in the near future. We'll have to see. Inspired by Partho. I mean, I played this card years ago when this was played in the Hulk version of the deck, but this is inspired by Partho because if you discard the water channeler with this, you can add almost any water. It's really, really good. For the Ravka, this to protect your barrier statue. This is something that you could play, but eh. And then the Magic Key Spirit and the Search Target, which you could make anything. Like you could make it Great White, but Great White's a level 3 rather than level 4. You can make it Space Mambo, you can make it a 7-colored fish, but I feel like this one is decent because you can reborn this off of Marincess Coral Anemone, and it's the biggest target that you can summon back off of Coral Anemone, so like, you know, why wouldn't you want that? But yeah, so there's this option that this gives you like a little bit more resources in your hand that allow you to summon stuff, or that allow you to add Tongyo. And the thing about it is even if Tongyo ends up in your graveyard, like even if you hard draw the Tongyo and you discard it for another water effect, and then you make the Magic Key Spirit after with Dragoons, you can still add the Tongyo back because this can add from grave to hand as well. So that's something. But these are some of the ideas that I have with the deck, and that's not to mention the actual flat-out like full-on Ice Barrier engine as well. Like you could do like an actual Ice Barrier variant of Mermail, but I just don't think that's as good. I mean, the Ice Barrier cards are they're decent quality cards, but they're not to the same degree of quality as the best water deck ever in the game. So like, you know, it's kind of hard like which route to go down if we even change the deck up. I mean, it all depends on the ban list too, because if the ban list doesn't ban barrier the barrier statue of the Torrent, or it doesn't hit any of the actual intrinsic Mermail engine, then like, you know, we can continue playing this version and then just like swap in cards, you know, to kind of vary the deck up a little bit and just kind of do that rather than like changing the whole deck and changing the whole strategy. But yeah, so like that's kind of like these are just kind of some ideas, some theory crafting. I may like do some testing with these and like dual videos and like maybe some test hands with some of these like ideas, and we'll just kind of see where it goes. I mean, I'm really like kind of optimistic about the Frog engine because Toad is still a strong card given you can get it on the board. It's just a matter of like, you summon the Toad, but you've sent all your like waters to the grave, and you didn't get any effects off of them because they weren't sent for cost. They were sent as a summon condition. So like that kind of is what hinders me from playing the Toad variant again. But like, it's just dependent. Like the deck is super strong as is now. You know, save for the fact that like Bahamut Shark got banned. Like this deck has really not seen any like you know, true like meta consequence in the sense that like it loses even more so. In fact, I think that you know, losing the Bahamut Shark like honestly made me play this deck a little bit smarter and not just kind of go balls to the wall, all gas, all combo, where like now I play a little bit more intelligently. I try to actually really think out like philosophy with this, like deck building philosophy and things like that with this deck, not like Rene Descartes philosophy, even though I am into that as well. So any of you debate nerds want to get on that with me, let me know. But all digressions. So like, yeah, with like deck building and theory crafting, like I'm just trying to like think like, what is the next step? What is the next evolution for this deck? Given you know, we do incur some kind of hit from the ban lists in the form of, say, Barrier Statue, or even like Moulin Glacia or Minstrel or something like that, which I don't think they should hit this deck anymore. I mean, this deck is you know, I mean, Bahamut Shark was really I feel like the one proper hit for this deck, and if you are gonna hit it, like maybe Minstrel to 1, or maybe like Moulin ban or something like that. But like the inherent Mermail cards themselves, I don't think should be banned. But and granted, that's with a hint of bias because this is the best deck in the game and nobody and everybody else is wrong. But like, you know, I just don't think this deck really is actually, you know, doing too much to really deserve any more serious hits. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. What variant you guys are playing, if you are playing a different variant, or if you're playing this version, or if you're playing like the Filler Rabka or the Butterfly Fish or any of that stuff. Just let me know what you guys are thinking about this deck. I would really appreciate it. And you know, I really want to get a conversation going about like where we go with this deck next. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I really appreciate the views you guys give us. As always, I will be trying to post a little bit more regularly again. I mean, I'm not like intending to post less and less. It's just kind of like life happens, and mandatory overtime at work kind of sucks, and not getting a surgery that you need kind of sucks. So yeah, but Eric here, Team Eccentric, and I'm signing.